Virtual Learners. This is another lesson of Too Good for Drugs. I hope everybody's staying safe, and I hope you are getting the lessons. In our last lesson, we examined how we use our words, using facial expressions, body language, and communicating effectively. Now, today we'll discuss friendships and other relationships. Now, it wasn't too long ago that you would need your parents for everything. You probably still need your parents for most things now, being 8th graders. Now you're developing your own opinions, your own interests, and your ideas, and you're stretching out your independence. You are starting to question people, what people tell you, and figuring out what's important to you and what your values are. Now, not too long ago, exciting Friday night would have probably been going to the movies. With your mom and dad, but now you probably wouldn't want to be seen in public with your parents. Now, a lot of you would rather spend more free time with your friends than your family because you feel like your friends may be more relatable. Not all of you all, but some of you all. So many of your friends you have today you met by chance, or you lived in the same neighborhood as them, and you all have the same similar qualities. And there's a lot of benefits of friendships when friendships are going well, such as they can encourage you when you're doing something good in life. They can be there for you. They can support you and share your joys. Now, it's also great to have good friendships when things are not going so well, when life's getting a little tough. They can be there for you. They can be a shoulder to cry on, and they can just be a great support group for you when times are going rough in your life. Now, however, just because someone has common interests doesn't mean that the person has other good friend qualities. Now, dating can present a similar challenge, whether the relationship's a friendship or something more romantic. If you want to find someone who has qualities that will match yours. Now, if you could design a relationship, what qualities would you want to include on a good relationship? Some things I have down is someone who's respectful, happy, kind, adventurous, understanding, helpful, honest, and has integrity. But what qualities would you not stand for in a relationship? Some things I have down is someone who's lying, gossiping, a bully, someone who likes to use people, and doesn't listen. Relationships are constantly evolving, and we need to periodically evaluate how they are working. And if we don't address unhealthy behaviors or characteristics right away, they can slowly chip away at our self-esteem. So I'm going to read you a quick story. And I want you to consider this following scenario. And you all may have been through this same scenario as well. Now, Sarah and Erica are friends. Sometimes Sarah puts Erica down. She says things like, "Why are you wearing that hideous shirt?" Or, "You sure don't know how to dress." Or, "What happened to your hair?" Or, "If you didn't have me, you wouldn't have any friends." And at first, Erica thought to herself, "Oh well, that's just Sarah. She can be cruel, but she doesn't mean it." After a while, though, Erica started wondering if Sarah really felt that way about her. Erica didn't like how Sarah's words made her feel, but she didn't want to lose the friendship. She decided that if Sarah was a true friend, she would stop putting her down. Erica confronted Sarah, saying, "You really hurt my feelings when you constantly put me down. I need a friend who is encouraging and supportive." Now, Sarah was surprised because she didn't realize that what she had been doing. Sarah immediately apologized, and she said she would stop putting her down. Now, once Erica identified her feelings and the source of unhappiness in this friendship, what did she do about it? She confronted Erica right away. And if she didn't confront Erica, then she probably wouldn't. She probably kept making fun of her. Now, communicating what you feel and what you need from a friend is often the same things our friends need. They want their friendship to stay intact as much as you do, only they may be too frightened or insecure to say what they feel. Now, how many of you all have been peer pressured? Probably most of you all. And peer pressure is doing something, someone or your peers, classmates, someone around your age is trying to get you to do something that you want to do. So knowing effective peer pressure strategies will help you will help you deal with a risky situation that you can get out quickly. So everybody turn to page 11 in the section titled Pressure points. Now, with this page, there's little puzzles, and these are the strategies to deal with peer pressure. You all at home have to figure out what that puzzle is saying and ways to deal with peer pressure. So for the first one, we'll do together. Now it says the clue is S plus A minus the H. And what does that make? That makes say. And the next picture is a no minus the T. What word does it make? No. Now, the first peer pressure strategy is say no. So for 2 through 9, you all will decipher the puzzle, and then you'll write down that peer pressure strategy. Now, how many of you all have been in a situation where no one tried to persuade you to do anything, but you did something you knew you shouldn't do just to fit or be accepted? Most of us have. Now, this is called self-inflicted pressure, and is often a result of peer influence. We can let the actions of others influence our behavior if we don't stop to think about what we truly want and to consider the consequences. So let's consider an example of this idea. So suppose you decide to get a mohawk haircut, and because the kids you want to hang out with are all talking about how cool the style is. Now, you really don't want a mohawk because you don't really like this look, but you do it anyway. Now, who made the decision for you to get the mohawk? You did. And suppose then that after you get the mohawk, you realize that no one actually got the mohawk. They were just talking about it. So here you are with the mohawk, and that you didn't really want, and now you are embarrassed. Did you really have to did you really have to get the mohawk in order to hang out with these kids? No. Sometimes we put a great deal of pressure on ourselves. Often we assume that our friends have certain expectations of us, and when in reality, they are more concerned about themselves than what others think of them. Now, we've learned several management strategies to help us cope when we find ourselves in the midst of a relationship dilemma. So I want everybody to turn to page 12 in your workbook, and the section titles Peer Predicaments. Now, read each scenario and determine how you would manage the friendship, and write your answer in space provided. All right, so we'll read the first one together. Edgar has just realized that his friend Ken only likes to hang out with him when his older sister is around. It doesn't really bother Edgar that Ken is interested in his sister. However, he feels used and is questioning their friendship. How would you feel if you were Edgar? And how would you handle the friendship with Ken? Scenario number 2. Minnie and Joel have been dating for several months. Joel insists that Minnie spend all of her time with him and gets jealous when she hangs out with her friends. Minnie misses her friends, but she is afraid to confront Joel, fearing he might break up with her. How would you feel if you're Mandy? And how would you handle the relationship with Joel? And last scenario, Amber wants to do well with her upcoming math test. So she schedules extra time over the weekend to practice her equations. Her best friend Monica wants her to go to the mall with her this weekend and tries to convince Amber to quit studying just to copy the answers from someone else's test. How would you feel if you were Amber? And how would you handle a relationship with Monica? Now, the skills you learned today that you put work here, and the same skills you need is in relationships too. Your emotional management skills, effective communication skills, and your social awareness skills will help you make and keep strong, healthy relationships throughout your lives. So great job. You have now finished the social emotional section of Too Good for Drugs. And next week we get into the drug portion, and our first lesson for lesson 6 will be alcohol.